The science of rapid skill acquisition provides actionable strategies to help you learn any skill faster and more effectively, and we'll cover the whole book, chapter by chapter, in just a few minutes. Chapter 1. Learn with Rapid Skill. Acquisition: What to learn? Let's begin with a fundamental question. What should you learn? This chapter emphasizes that choosing the right skill to learn is as important as the learning process itself. Why? Because not all skills are created equal for every person. The best skills to pursue are those that align with your personal or professional goals. For example, if you aim to advance your career in tech, learning a programming language like Python might have more value than picking up a musical instrument, at least for now. Clarity of purpose is critical. When you know why you're learning something, it fuels your motivation and gives direction to your efforts. The book puts it succinctly. Choosing what to learn is often more important than how you learn. And clarity of purpose fuels the speed of mastery. To put this into practice, start by identifying your goals. Ask yourself, what skill will provide long-term benefits or compound utility over time? Once you've chosen a skill, reassess periodically to ensure it still aligns with your objectives. For instance, if you start learning photography as a hobby, but discover a passion for professional videography, it may make sense to pivot. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Chapter 2. Stages of Learning. Every learning journey has distinct stages, from your first exposure to a topic to eventual mastery. This chapter outlines those stages and explains how recognizing them can help you set realistic expectations. Think about learning as a staircase. You don't leap to the top. You take it step by step. At the beginning, progress can feel slow and even frustrating. This is normal. Early on, you're building foundational understanding, essential principles that you'll rely on as you advance. The book reminds us, mastery follows predictable stages, but stagnation can occur if milestones are not identified. Take learning a musical instrument as an example. In the first stage, you may focus on basic notes and scales. Only after mastering those can you progress to playing complex songs or improvising. Each stage requires its own focus and effort, so patience and persistence are key. To keep moving forward, break skills into stages and set clear milestones for each phase. Celebrate small wins along the way. They're proof of your progress. Reflect regularly on where you are and adjust your focus as needed. By doing this, you'll stay motivated and build momentum. Chapter 3. Strategic Planning. Once you've identified what to learn and understand the stages of learning, it's time to plan. Strategic planning is the foundation of effective and efficient learning. Imagine trying to build a house without blueprints. You'd waste time, resources, and energy. Learning is no different. The book stresses that a structured approach saves time and enhances retention. A clear plan acts as a roadmap, keeping you focused and reducing the chances of burnout. As the book puts it, a solid plan is the scaffolding upon which rapid learning is built. Begin by defining your goals. What exactly do you want to achieve? Next, identify the resources you'll need, such as books, courses, or mentors. Finally, schedule regular, dedicated practice sessions. Consistency is far more important than cramming. Don't forget to review and adjust your plan as you go. If something isn't working, refine your approach. Perhaps you're spending too much time on theory and not enough on practice. Adjusting your balance can reinvigorate your progress. The key is to maintain flexibility while staying committed to your ultimate goal. Chapter 4. Under Deconstruction. When you're faced with a new skill, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by its complexity. This chapter encourages us to break skills into smaller, manageable components, a process called deconstruction. Think of it like disassembling a machine to understand how it works. By focusing on the most critical pieces first, you can build confidence and effectiveness early on. The book reminds us, to master complexity, first break it down into simplicity, and the essence of a skill lies in its core components. Focus on these first. For example, if you're learning to play guitar, don't start with advanced solos. Instead, deconstruct the skill by mastering chords, strumming patterns, and finger placement first. Deconstruction not only simplifies the process, but also helps you avoid wasting time on irrelevant details. To apply this, start by analyzing the skill you want to learn. Break it into individual components and identify which parts are the most essential. Spend time mastering these foundational elements before moving on to advanced techniques. And remember, as you improve, continually refine your approach to adapt to new challenges and insights. Chapter 5. Mixed Styles and Mediums. How you learn is just as important as what you learn. This chapter emphasizes the value of using a variety of learning methods and mediums to enhance understanding and retention. As the book puts it, a single approach limits perspective, variety breeds mastery, and blending styles creates a multidimensional grasp of any subject. For example, imagine you're learning a new language. If you only rely on a textbook, your learning might feel flat and uninspired. But if you mix methods, like using apps for vocabulary, watching movies in the target language, practicing conversations, and teaching phrases to a friend, you'll engage with the material in a more dynamic and effective way. To make this actionable, incorporate diverse learning styles into your routine. Use visual aids, hands-on practice, and discussions to deepen your understanding. Experiment with different resources to see what works best for you. And don't forget, teaching what you've learned to someone else is one of the most powerful ways to reinforce your knowledge. Chapter 6. Gather information and resources. The foundation of any successful learning journey is high-quality resources. This chapter guides us in identifying the best information to avoid wasting time or feeling overwhelmed by content overload. The book wisely advises the right resources turn confusion into clarity, and not all information is created equal. Discernment is key. Start by seeking out highly recommended books, courses, or mentors in your chosen field. For instance, if you're learning coding, platforms like Codecademy or Coursera can offer structured, reliable guidance. Regularly update your resource list to include the latest and most relevant information. But don't fall into the trap of overloading yourself. It's better to deeply engage with a few excellent materials than to skim dozens without focus. To implement this, prioritize quality over quantity. Curate a selection of resources that align with your goals, and schedule regular reviews to ensure they're still serving you. As you progress, be willing to discard what no longer fits and embrace what accelerates your learning. Chapter 7. It's just practice. At its core, skill acquisition boils down to one undeniable truth. Consistent practice is the backbone of mastery. Without regular and focused effort, even the most talented individuals cannot achieve lasting improvement. However, the quality of practice matters just as much as the quantity. Passive repetition, mindlessly going through the motions, will only take you so far. Instead, this chapter emphasizes deliberate and intentional practice, reminding us that practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice does. Think about how athletes train. A basketball player doesn't just shoot hoops randomly. They focus on their form, their footwork, and their shot selection. They evaluate every move and seek to refine it. Mistakes, rather than being setbacks, are viewed as valuable learning opportunities. This mindset transforms practice into a powerful tool for growth. To make this actionable, set aside dedicated time every day for focused practice. Evaluate your performance, adjust your techniques based on feedback, and embrace your mistakes as steps on the path to mastery. Remember, consistent effort combined with intentionality is what leads to true improvement. Chapter 8. Deliberate Practice. Deliberate practice takes the concept of consistent practice to the next level by honing in on your weakest areas. This approach is all about targeted effort, identifying specific gaps in your performance and working to improve them systematically. As the book states, deliberate practice separates the amateur from the expert. It's not just about working harder, it's about working smarter. For example, if you're learning to play the piano, deliberate practice might involve isolating a challenging section of a song and playing it repeatedly at a slower tempo. Once you've mastered that section, you integrate it back into the whole piece. The key here is feedback. Whether it's from a teacher, a peer, or even self-assessment, feedback provides the insights you need to refine your approach. The book puts it beautifully. Feedback is the mirror in which you see your progress. To implement this, identify your weakest areas and focus on them during practice sessions. Seek regular feedback to ensure you're improving in the right direction. Finally, push your boundaries by setting challenging but achievable goals. Growth happens outside your comfort zone, so don't be afraid to stretch yourself. Chapter 9. Interleaved Practice. Interleaved practice involves mixing multiple related skills or topics in a single session, rather than practicing each one in isolation. This method enhances adaptability, problem-solving abilities, and long-term retention. The idea is that by practicing skills in a varied order, you force your brain to stay engaged and dynamic. As the book says, learning in isolation breeds rigidity. Mixing breeds adaptability. Imagine you're learning a sport like tennis. Instead of practicing serves for an hour, then volleys, then backhands, interleaved practice might involve cycling through all three within the same session. This approach mimics the unpredictability of real-world conditions, where you need to adapt on the fly. It also prevents monotony, keeping practice sessions fresh and engaging. To apply interleaved practice, combine related skills in each session. For example, if you're studying math, alternate between solving algebra problems, geometry puzzles, and calculus questions. Regularly change the order and focus to mimic real-world scenarios and challenge your adaptability. Finally, don't shy away from practicing in unfamiliar or unexpected situations. This will prepare you to use your skills effectively in diverse contexts. Chapter 10. Spaced Repetition. Spaced repetition is a highly effective memory strategy that helps you retain information over the long term by revisiting material at increasing intervals. Think of it as training your brain to recall information right before you forget it, strengthening those neural connections. This approach prevents the common problem of forgetting and reduces the time you need to spend relearning material. As the book says, the brain needs space to retain. Repetition cements the foundation, and forgetfulness is the enemy of mastery, and spacing is its antidote. Imagine studying for an exam. Instead of cramming all the material the night before, you review it at intervals over weeks, day 1, then day 3, then a week later. This technique ensures the information moves from short-term memory to long-term retention. Spaced repetition isn't just for students. It's equally valuable for professionals mastering new tools or concepts. To implement this, consider using a spaced repetition system, SRS or app, such as Anki, to automate your reviews at optimal intervals. Schedule regular review sessions, making sure to balance revisiting older material with learning new content. Finally, monitor your retention levels and adjust the frequency of reviews to focus on areas that need reinforcement. This structured approach will help you remember more while spending less time relearning. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Chapter 11. Problem-based learning. Learning truly comes to life when it's tied to solving real-world problems. Problem-based learning takes theoretical concepts and puts them into practical application. This approach not only deepens your understanding, but also enhances retention and builds confidence. As the book puts it, real-world problems transform theory into practice. And learning is most effective when it's tied to solving meaningful challenges. For example, if you're learning coding, solving real-world tasks, like building a small app or fixing bugs in a program, provides context and purpose to what you're studying. It's no longer about abstract knowledge. It's about tangible results. This makes the learning process more engaging and effective. To embrace problem-based learning, seek out challenges that directly apply to the skills you're building. Create projects or scenarios that mimic real-world conditions, whether it's writing a business proposal, solving customer service issues, or designing a marketing plan. Collaborate with peers to tackle complex problems, as diverse perspectives often lead to innovative solutions. By working on real-world applications, you'll bridge the gap between theory and practice. Chapter 12. When you lose, don't lose the lesson. Failure is an inevitable part of any learning journey, but it's also one of the most valuable. This chapter reframes failure as a stepping stone to progress, encouraging learners to approach mistakes with curiosity instead of frustration. Failure, when viewed constructively, becomes a teacher that success cannot replace. The book reminds us, failure is the teacher that success cannot replace. And every mistake carries a lesson. Only those who look will find it. Consider Thomas Edison, who famously said he didn't fail, but found 10,000 ways that didn't work while inventing the light bulb. Each mistake brought him closer to his ultimate success. Adopting this mindset fosters resilience and continuous improvement. To apply this, reflect on your mistakes to understand their root causes. Ask yourself, what went wrong? What can I learn from this? Maintain a growth mindset by seeing each setback as a chance to refine your skills and approach. Use these moments to reassess your strategies, whether it's adjusting your practice methods or seeking additional resources. By embracing failure, you'll grow stronger, more adaptable, and closer to mastery. Chapter 13. Prioritize it, obviously. When it comes to learning a new skill, deliberate prioritization and consistent effort are absolutely essential. This chapter emphasizes that success doesn't happen by accident. It's a product of sustained focus and intentional scheduling. Without clear priorities, your progress will be slow and inconsistent. The book reminds us, what you prioritize shapes what you achieve. And without focus, even the best intentions scatter like the wind. Imagine you're trying to learn a language, but you only study sporadically, multitask during your lessons, or let distractions pull you away. It's unlikely you'll make meaningful progress. On the other hand, dedicating specific distraction-free time blocks to language practice ensures steady improvement. This applies to any skill, whether it's coding, writing, or playing an instrument. To put this into action, start by scheduling regular time for skill development, just like you would for important meetings. Limit distractions by turning off notifications or working in a quiet space. Lastly, regularly reassess your priorities to make sure your learning aligns with your larger goals. Progress thrives on focus and consistency. Chapter 14. Deep Comprehension. True mastery isn't just about memorizing facts or following instructions. It's about deeply understanding the why and how behind concepts. Surface-level knowledge may let you scrape by, but it won't prepare you to adapt your skills to new or complex situations. As the book puts it, understanding is the foundation upon which mastery is built, and depth of knowledge transforms information into wisdom. Let's say you're learning how to bake bread. Memorizing a recipe might help you make one loaf, but understanding the science of yeast fermentation, gluten development, and baking temperatures gives you the ability to troubleshoot or experiment with new recipes. Deep comprehension allows you to move beyond rote learning and become truly versatile. To develop this depth, ask probing questions like, why does this work this way? Or, what happens if I change this variable? Use analogies and examples to relate new concepts to things you already understand. Finally, test your comprehension by teaching the skill to someone else. This forces you to clarify your thinking and spot any gaps in your knowledge. Chapter 15. Elaborative Interrogation. The Feynman Technique. This chapter introduces two powerful tools for deepening comprehension: elaborative interrogation and the Feynman Technique. Both methods center on asking detailed questions and teaching what you've learned in simple terms. As the book states, the best way to learn is to teach. The best way to teach is to simplify. And questions are the gateway to understanding. The Feynman technique is especially useful. Named after the physicist Richard Feynman, it involves breaking down a concept into simple language, as if you're explaining it to a novice. If you struggle to explain a part clearly, that's a sign you need to revisit and strengthen your understanding. Repeating this process not only deepens your knowledge, but also enhances retention. To practice, pick a concept you're learning and explain it aloud or write it down as if teaching a child. When you hit a tricky spot, identify the gaps in your understanding and revisit the material. Additionally, ask and answer detailed questions about the topic to uncover deeper insights. Over time, this iterative process will solidify your grasp of the subject. Chapter 16. Bloom's Taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy offers a hierarchical framework for learning that enhances both understanding and application. It's a step-by-step approach, starting with foundational knowledge and gradually advancing to more complex levels like analysis, evaluation, and creation. The idea is simple but powerful. Mastery grows from roots of understanding and blossoms into creation, and each level of learning builds a stronger foundation for the next. Think of learning like building a house. You wouldn't start with the roof. You begin with a solid foundation. For example, if you're learning data analysis, you first master basic statistical methods before progressing to interpreting trends or building predictive models. This methodical progression ensures you have the tools to tackle advanced applications with confidence. To apply Bloom's taxonomy, begin with foundational concepts and set goals for each stage of your learning journey. Regularly assess your progress to ensure you're ready to move to the next level. For instance, once you've mastered the basics of a skill, challenge yourself to analyze real-world scenarios or create original projects using what you've learned. This structured approach ensures not only understanding but mastery. Chapter 17. The Curiosity Muscle. Curiosity is a driving force behind meaningful learning. When you cultivate an inquisitive mindset, you stay engaged, explore deeply, and uncover connections that might otherwise remain hidden. Curiosity transforms the process of learning from a chore into an adventure. The book reminds us, curiosity turns learning from a chore into an adventure. And the more you question, the more you learn. Imagine you're learning about space exploration. Instead of passively reading, you ask questions. How do rockets work? What are the challenges of living on Mars? This sense of wonder keeps you motivated and leads to deeper understanding. Curiosity also helps you overcome challenges by reframing obstacles as opportunities for discovery. To nurture curiosity, approach learning with a sense of exploration. Continuously ask questions about what you're studying, why it works, how it applies, and what it connects to. Seek new perspectives by engaging with diverse resources, whether it's books, videos, or conversations with experts. By making curiosity a habit, you'll find learning becomes more engaging and rewarding. Chapter 18. Stack your skills. Skill stacking is about combining complementary abilities to multiply their value. A single skill is useful, but blending multiple skills strategically creates a powerful competitive advantage. As the book says, a single skill is useful, a stack of skills is transformative, and innovation thrives at the intersection of diverse expertise. Consider someone who combines graphic design, marketing, and storytelling. Each skill is valuable on its own, but together they create a unique ability to craft compelling brand campaigns. Skill stacking allows you to stand out in your field and tackle challenges with a broader toolkit. To leverage this concept, identify skills that complement each other and plan to develop them in tandem. For example, if you're a programmer, learning project management or public speaking could make you more effective in leadership roles. Look for opportunities to apply your skills together in real-world scenarios. By stacking your skills, you'll not only differentiate yourself, but also open doors to innovation and new career paths. Chapter 19. Social and physical surroundings. No negative Nancy's. Your environment, both social and physical, has a profound impact on your ability to learn and stay focused. This chapter emphasizes the need to surround yourself with positivity and minimize distractions. As the book says, surround yourself with people who lift you higher, and the right environment is a silent partner in your success. Think about your social circle. Are the people around you encouraging your growth or holding you back? A supportive mentor, peer group, or even a single accountability partner can provide the motivation and feedback you need to keep moving forward. Similarly, your physical surroundings matter just as much. A cluttered or noisy space can break your focus, while a calm, organized environment fosters productivity. To create an optimal learning environment, start by curating a social circle that values growth and learning. For example, join study groups, professional communities, or online forums where you can connect with like-minded individuals. On the physical side, set up a dedicated, clutter-free workspace with minimal distractions. Finally, limit your exposure to negativity, whether it's unhelpful feedback or a toxic social environment. A positive setting will keep you focused and energized. Chapter 20. Role models, support systems, and hotbeds. The journey of skill acquisition becomes much more manageable when you leverage the power of role models and support systems. Role models provide inspiration and a roadmap for success. As the book says, success leaves clues. Find and follow them. Observing how others have navigated their paths can give you valuable insights into your own learning process. But role models aren't enough on their own. You also need a support system. Whether it's a study partner, a coach, or a community, these networks provide accountability and encouragement. Additionally, being part of hotbeds or communities of excellence, where talented, motivated individuals come together, can supercharge your growth. The shared motivation and expertise within these groups create an environment of collective progress. To apply this, identify role models in your field and study their methods. For instance, if you're learning entrepreneurship, read biographies of successful founders or watch interviews to understand their decision-making processes. Join communities where you can exchange ideas and stay motivated, such as professional groups or skill-specific workshops. Lastly, build a personal support system that keeps you accountable to your goals. With the right role models and support, progress becomes a shared journey. Chapter 21. Manage your expectations. Remain realistic. Learning a new skill is rarely a straight path. This chapter highlights the importance of setting realistic expectations to prevent frustration and burnout. Progress is often slower at the beginning, but maintaining patience and persistence is key. The book reminds us, patience is the fuel of mastery, haste is its enemy, and the road to skill is paved with persistence, not perfection. Consider the early stages of learning to play a musical instrument. It's easy to feel discouraged when progress is slow or mistakes are frequent. However, understanding that these challenges are normal helps you stay motivated. By breaking long-term goals into smaller milestones, you can celebrate incremental successes along the way and maintain your momentum. To manage your expectations, set achievable short-term goals that build toward your larger objectives. Celebrate each milestone, no matter how small. It's evidence of your progress. And most importantly, accept that setbacks are part of the learning process. When you view mistakes as opportunities to improve rather than failures, you build resilience and stay on track. Chapter 22. What's the toll? Learning anything significant takes effort, and that effort comes with a cost. This chapter highlights the sacrifices that often accompany intensive learning, such as time, energy, and focus. However, the book reminds us that success doesn't demand everything. It demands intentionality and balance. As it states, every gain has its cost. Success demands intention and balance. And to grow in one area, you must prune in another. For example, If you're dedicating yourself to mastering a new language, it might mean sacrificing leisure time or reducing commitments in other areas. These choices are not easy, but they're necessary for sustained progress. At the same time, balance is critical. Neglecting your health, relationships, or well-being can lead to burnout and ultimately slow your learning. To manage this, set clear boundaries to protect the time and energy you dedicate to learning. Regularly evaluate your schedule to ensure you're balancing skill development with other priorities. And don't forget self-care. Maintaining your physical and mental health is essential for staying motivated and focused over the long term. Learning is a marathon, not a sprint. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Chapter 23. Constant confusion. Confusion can feel uncomfortable, but it's an essential part of learning. This chapter reframes those moments of uncertainty as productive steps toward mastery. The book explains that confusion signals you're stretching the limits of your current abilities, which is where real growth begins. It reminds us, confusion is not the enemy. It's the bridge to clarity, and struggle signals the edge of your current ability and the start of growth. Think about when you've tried to learn something complex, like solving a tricky math problem or understanding a new software tool. At first, it's frustrating, but as you persist, things begin to click. That aha moment wouldn't happen without working through the confusion. To make the most of these moments, embrace confusion as an opportunity for deeper exploration. Break challenging concepts into smaller, more manageable parts, and work through them step by step. If you're stuck, don't hesitate to seek guidance or new resources for a fresh perspective. By leaning into the struggle, you'll emerge with a deeper understanding and a stronger foundation for future learning. Chapter 24. You Know Nothing. This chapter is a reminder of the importance of humility in the learning process. Recognizing the gaps in your knowledge is not a weakness. It's the first step toward growth. When you adopt a beginner's mindset, you remain open to new ideas, curious about possibilities, and motivated to improve. As the book puts it, the wisest learners know they are always beginners, and humility is the soil in which knowledge grows. For instance, even experts in their fields often revisit foundational principles or seek input from peers. They understand that mastery is not about knowing everything, but about continuously striving to learn more. This attitude keeps them adaptable and innovative. To cultivate this mindset, regularly reflect on areas where your knowledge can deepen. Approach every learning opportunity with an open mind and a willingness to improve. Seek out diverse perspectives, whether through reading, conversations, or new experiences. Humility not only fuels growth, but also makes learning a lifelong and enriching journey.